So to introduce myself, my name is Dr. Marianne Mader. I'm the Executive Director of the Canadian Association of Science Centres. I'm very excited about the webinar. It's near and dear to my heart as a planetary scientist myself. I'm going to be your moderator for the conversation. We also have Tina Leduc, our CASC office manager, who's available in the background and can step in if we have any technical problems and can answer your questions in that chat window. So I'm presenting today from my office in the Ontario Science Centre, and I'd like to start with acknowledging that the land in which this building is situated this building stands are the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. And it's important to also acknowledge the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat, along with the many Indigenous communities and peoples who also share these lands. And we are so grateful to live and work and present this session today in this community. So today, we are thrilled that Jamie Sevigny from the Canadian Space Agency can join us for the webinar. The way that this is going to roll out is I'm going to give an introduction. Jamie's going to present some background material for about, say, 10 minutes on the Junior Astronaut program. I'll come back online with some specifically CASC network relevant information about how we're supporting this program, and we'll open it up for Q&A afterwards. So as you go along though, as you have questions, you can type them into the Q&A tab, and we'll keep track of those so that we can answer them at the end. This presentation is being given in English. However, Jamie is fully bilingual. All questions can be answered, can be asked and answered in French as well. So I'm going to start with a little bit of a background about Jamie because she's impressive. So Jamie is an engineer who's worked at the Canadian Space Agency for almost 18 years. She spent her first 8 years training astronauts, that's right, and flight controllers how to safely operate the Canadarm2 on the International Space Station. She then joined the project management team for the RadarSat constellation mission and was instrumental in ensuring the readiness and security of the satellite's ground control systems. In 2018, and we're very lucky with this one, Jamie moved over to the CSA's Communications and Public Affairs Department to work on building a foundation for a new set of initiatives aimed at inspiring youth into STEM studies and careers. So she's now leading the Junior Astronauts campaign. And this is the campaign that engages with educators and youth across Canada to show them how they can play a role in Canada's future space exploration. So we are thrilled that Jamie has joined us today, and we're gonna just take a quick moment to allow her to share her screen and then start into that presentation, and then I'll come back online.
Okay, so can we maybe get a confirmation if there's anybody who cannot hear me right now, if they can just let you know and then you can pass on the information. So before I get to sharing my screen, I did want to say a big thank you as well to you, Marianne, and to the Canadian Association of Science Centres. We're thrilled also to be working with you guys. We've worked with you many, many times in the past, and we look forward to a long future of collaborating and partnering with you guys as well. So we're thanking you as well for helping us to share the word of our initiative, the Junior Astronauts Initiative and campaign. And we're also, I mean, we have a very similar, I think, interest here is where we're trying to inspire the next generation, inspiring youth into sciences, technology, engineering, and math. So that's one of the main goals of what we're trying to do with this campaign.
And Jamie, so actually, I just have one thing to add,
Sure.
that we're actually really thrilled to be joining a collection of other organizations across the country who are also sharing this campaign. And so we're really on board with a bigger group called Space Matters that's managed out of the University of Western Ontario. And we're very excited to be working with many partners on not only sharing this information, but helping to encourage people to engage youth in the activities.
That's great. Thank you for bringing that up as well. The partnerships are key with this, and we wouldn't be able to do it without all the different partners and collaborators with this initiative. So I'll be sharing my screen. I think it's this one right there. Share. And if let me pull it up. Can you see it in a full screen mode? Is that coming through okay? Yeah, okay. We're very happy to see that there's so many. Just a quick status to those who are listening. We're very happy to see too that there's many people who are signed up for the Junior Astronauts campaign, and we do see too that there are 10 cast members that are already signed up for the Junior Astronauts activities. Starting with what is the Junior Astronauts campaign? If you were not aware, back in February of 2019, Canada announced that it was going to the moon. So Canada, our country, is part of and joining the NASA-led Lunar Gateway program, and through that we're working on the development of Canadarm3, which is an AI-powered robotic system that's critical to the Gateway's mission. And this will also pave the way for Canada and Canadian astronauts to be part of future missions to the moon and beyond. And as we reach for the moon, the Junior Astronauts campaign aims to inspire the next generation of youth. It's an opportunity for kids across our country to test their skills and knowledge and understand how they too, they are the right age, how they can play a role in this mission and in future missions to the moon and beyond. So for the objectives of what we're trying to do here, we're also trying to get Canadian youth excited about science using space. Space is pretty exciting. If you've been in a room ever before where an astronaut walks in and there's a bunch of youth, the atmosphere changes. They're very inspiring to our youth. We're also trying to inform youth about the different space careers that are available to them and what it takes to become an astronaut. And then, as mentioned earlier, show them how they can play a role in future space missions. So the activities under the Junior Astronauts campaign, they've been designed to be run by organizations that work with youth. So these are schools and organizations specifically targeting to grades 6 to 9, like science centers and museums as well, and some not-for-profit organizations and so on. We've divided the activities into 3 streams for kids and organizations with varying interests. So science and technology stream, fitness and nutrition, and teamwork and communication stream. So these 3 streams were chosen because they are key for someone who's interested in becoming an astronaut. But I think we'll all agree that these 3 themes are also important for everyone living and working here on Earth as well. To put together the activities, the CSA worked and collaborated with many different groups to develop but also to validate the activities, so we thank them for that. We worked with some teachers, we've worked with Canadian Geographic, we worked with Let's Talk Science, Health Canada, Public Agency, Health Agency, Science Centers, and I think some of you have also helped us in testing some of these activities. To have access to the activities within the 3 streams, organizations and schools need to sign up and register for the activities through the Junior Astronauts portal on the CSA website, and we'll provide the link. If you don't already have it, we'll provide the link on a later slide. The activities have been designed, there's many of them, there's 38 in total. So we did that to provide a variety of activities available to those wanting to run activities, but they've also been designed to be free and adaptable, low cost to run, and most of the activities require little to no material or equipment to run them with youth. They're all available in both official languages, and they all have a varying level of difficulty. The activities have been put on the web in both HTML and in PDF format, so you can either see them on your screen or you can download them, and some of them require printing out some student handouts to be able to run them. It's small text, but I just wanted to pull out a few examples of some of the activities and how they're laid out on in our portal. So in the orange, you see a list of some of the fitness activities that we provide. So you see that there's a title, a little description of the activity. to help you decide whether you're interested in it or not. There's also the difficulty that's been estimated, the approximate duration, and that's because these are, again, made to be adaptable so that you can fit it into your reality and your situation, and then the estimated number of materials that are required to run the activity with youth. In the green, that's some of the activities that you will find in the teamwork and communications, and so they're laid out also in the same way. So we did receive a question before in terms of, and I think specifically for science centers who run some activities that are quite similar to some of the activities that we do run. And our answer to that, and I think you'll find this also in a Q&A that CASC provided for the Junior Astronauts initiative. If you do have an activity, let's take an egg drop activity. The Junior Astronauts is proposing an egg drop activity. Now, if you already do an egg drop activity, as long as you take something from the Junior Astronauts, you can adapt it to make it fit your reality, and then that can count as participating in and running a Junior Astronauts activity with youth. So we do ask that you try to adapt it to make sure that your activity is very similar to the Junior Astronauts. We're not requiring it to be exactly like it, but a variation of it. All right, so some of the activities that we provide within the science and tech, just to give you a little high-level idea of some of the activities, we do provide a couple of activities that are coding. There is also a robotics activity within the science and tech stream, and there's also a science activity that deals with environmental conditions and comparing environmental conditions within your room with those that are on the International Space Station. So that's just a couple of examples. In terms of the fitness and nutrition, we might have the students planning and preparing a meal for astronauts in space using the Canada Food Guide. So that's one, of course, that we worked with Health Canada on. And also in terms of fitness, we have them working as teams, and one of the activities is to save an injured astronaut on the moon, and another one, a really fun one too, you can see it in the picture in the middle of the screen, where youth have to work together to go collect moon rocks. In the teamwork and communications, again, we have a big variety of activities. There's a debate in there. There's another one where youth work together to negotiate an international space mission. There's another art one, a team art project where youth work together to create mission patches. And another one, some of you might like this one, to design a space museum. And then there's another one where we take the idea of a dragon's den and we have youth pitching their innovative ideas to this space dragon's den. So what's in it for you? What's in it for educators, for organizations participating? Well, as mentioned, astronauts are incredibly inspirational, especially to youth. So it's if you sign up and run at least one activity under the Junior Astronauts campaign with a group of kids in grades 6 to 9, you can enter to win a visit from an astronaut or a space expert that will take place in spring of 2020. So those visits will take place between April and June based on availability. We will randomly select institutions from every single province and territory in Canada with at least 2 winners per province and territory. And the more streams you participate in, the more chances you have to win, so up to 3 because there's 3 streams. To be eligible, we do require 2 things after running the activities with the youth, is to fill out a short questionnaire to provide us with some feedback and some data on the activities. And then we also require you to post a link of a video that you have to prove that you've run the activity with youth. And if you participate in all 3 streams, we ask for 1 video per stream. So we're not asking for a video per activity, we're just asking for a video per stream. The video is to be put on a social media platform of your choice, and if you prefer, it can also be put as an unlisted video on YouTube and then the link shared with us so we can take a look at it. And when you do go into the portal and apply for the contest, that's when you'll be prompted to provide the link. For youth who've participated in the activities, they've got a really special contest. So 4 qualified participants from every province and territory will be selected randomly to take part in a week-long, all expenses paid camp in most likely in August of 2020 this year at the CSA's headquarters in St. Hubert, Quebec, where the youth will be able to train with engineers, scientists, and even some astronauts at the Canadian Space Agency. To be eligible, we ask that a parent or legal guardian register on the Junior Astronauts portal, and the youth and their parent or guardian will need to prove that they've completed at least one activity in each of the 3 streams. And also they need to share a video that explains why they would be a great junior astronaut. We've also been asked by educators throughout the campaign whether they need to be the ones proposing students for the camp or to sign them up. And what we've tried to do is make it as simple as possible for educators. So the answer to the question is no. But what you do need to do is, if you are going to be running activities with youth, we ask that you download the certificate provided on the Junior Astronauts portal, and you give this certificate to the youth, and they can use that as proof that they've completed the activity with you. And then when youth sign up there too, we're asking them to upload an electronic version of that certificate, whether it's a picture or a scan or something. So during the camp, where the youth are going to be, I guess, interfacing with some of our engineers, we have some really cool people here at the Canadian Space Agency who want to share their passion and inspire the next generation. We're coming up with the camp schedule at the moment, and the details are going to be available soon. But here we've put up a picture of when we had a group of students here at the CSA. And they got to participate in a simulated rover mission. So that's one of the activities that we will be providing to youth, and the youth will participate in a team as a real mission team, and they will get to command the Canadian Space Agency's real rovers on our Mars yard. So that's one of the activities. We also have some other activities like a space kitchen that they get to participate in, and it's definitely going to be a fun week. We've had many even adults ask if there's going to be a version for adults in the future. So I put up here a slide on the junior astronauts. This is what our web portal, our web page looks like. For you to participate, we've highlighted, there's a yellow arrow that you see on the screen. That's the button to register for the activities. And once you're registered for the activities, you can also use the same portal to sign up for the contest for the astronaut visit. And then once you've registered, you can access your account many times through an already registered button that's right beside. You also see that there's the website. We've put it at the bottom of the screen if you want to take note of that to access, but a quick Google search will bring you to our page as well. Here's the form, just to quickly show it to you in terms of registering. So this is the information we're looking for when you sign up and register. And the application process for the astronaut visits is open at this time. So it's through this portal that you'll also do that. The requirements is, again, just to repeat, if you do want to sign up for an astronaut visit, we will ask that you fill out a short questionnaire. And we will also ask you to provide a link to a video to show that you've done the activities with youth. If you do have additional questions following this webinar, there's also terms and conditions and FAQ that you can access to see if your questions are answered there. And also CASC has also provided some specific FAQ. We've helped Mariana with that one as well to answer some of her questions. We have a really neat map that we've also provided on the website. The map serves a couple of purposes. We can see who signed up where, but it's also of interest to youth who are interested in participating in activities. So for example, if a youth wants to apply for the space camp and their school is not running activities, they can take a look and zoom in to their city and see if there's any participating organizations around them to which they can sign up and do the activities with that organization. Of course, you may notice in the top right, you'll see there's a whole pile of organizations out in Labrador Sea. Those are organizations that have chosen to opt out of popping up on the map, which is completely up to you. So if you prefer not to be visible on the map, you simply select that checkbox and then you'll end up in the Labrador Sea as well. If you are planning on running an activity that you want to open up to the public, though, we are going to ask that, and we'll work together here. If you let us know in advance, we can help you promote the activity and the event. So just give us a heads up in advance, and we'll help you out with that one, the promotion. So some important dates ongoing. So the registration is ongoing now, and then the submission, so the applications for the astronaut visits and the applications also for space camp, those are also ongoing. So registration's open, application for the contests are open. The deadline to submit for the contest for the astronaut visits is the end of February. And the deadline for youth to apply for the space, the junior astronauts. I'm going to quickly jump over the February 11th one. So you'll see that in March, we announced the winning schools and organizations for the astronaut visits. And in April, we'll announce the winners of the camp. And then it's in the spring. We put March to June here, but it's most likely April to June, where we will send our astronauts all across the country to have talks with youth in different varying organizations. And then most likely in August will take place the camp here at the CSA. So February 11th, Junior Astronauts Day. That's a special day that we've put together. There's many partners who are involved in that. There's Western Space, Actua, Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants, Canadian Association for Girls in Science, Partners in Research, and of course CASC. So we're going to be taking advantage of the International Day for Girls and Women in Science to host a special day where different collaborators will be running junior astronauts activities. The CSA will promote this day of partner activities with media. So we're going to be targeting national and local media, and we will be putting it on our social media. And I believe you received also an e-blast recently, last week, giving details on this. So if you're interested, if you're interested in running an event under this, and you'd also like some promotional material, we ask that you do let CASC know, and they're going to be coordinating all of that, and we'll provide them with the materials that they can distribute across the country to those participating. We would absolutely love if we were able to get this event going on across the country. And so, of course, CASC members can help out with that, and we can really make this a fun national event across the country. I think that's it. We're coming up to the question period now. So again, just a reminder, si vous avez des questions en français, je peux répondre en français. Vous pourriez poser vos questions en français aussi. It'd be my pleasure to answer questions in either official language. So I think I'm passing it over right now to Marianne. Stop sharing. I think that worked.
Great. And I actually just wanted to share kind of like the CASC web portal that we've developed, that we've tried to tailor information about junior astronauts specific to our audience. So I'm going to bring that up on my screen. I'm going to share a few things. First, I'll just start with a few slides to point people in the right direction. So, I'm just trying to move my cursor here. There we go. So when you go to, when our members come to our website, the Canadian Association of Science Centers website, under the programs tab, the first one listed is actually junior astronauts. And this site, this is just a screen capture of that site. I can go to the actual site and share it if you like. There's a lot of information available there. And also taking what Jamie just said in terms of a step-by-step process, in terms of first you register, and then what happens if you want to enter the contest, how you can empower youth to enter their contest for the camp, and all of those steps. This site, of course, like our entire website, is also available in French. And I'm gonna actually switch out afterwards to show you the website, because something that we're very interested in as an association and in supporting the Canadian Space Agency is understanding our collective reach in these efforts. This is really amazing. There's two kinds of key pieces of data or information we're interested in. One is our reach as a network in terms of how many teachers we can share this opportunity with. As many of you know, over 90% of our members run school visits, and as part of that, either have newsletters or in communication with broad teacher networks. I think this is a completely undervalued aspect of our network. It's the reach to formal education educators is incredible, and we don't actually have that collected data to back it up. So that's something we're interested in collecting. We actually have a survey form on our website for members to fill out in terms of the reach to teachers that they're able to achieve in this grade 6 to grade 9 range. And of course, we're also interested in capturing our collective reach in terms of how many activities are we running out there. And I'm going to switch over actually to those forms so you can see what they look like. So I'm going to switch over to our website real quick. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to our website, I hope. Oh no, I don't see it popping up. Okay.
It's visible.
Okay, great. Thank you for letting me know, Jamie. Okay, so here is a live view of our website. Again, under programs, you can select junior astronauts. There's a lot of information on here, okay? As we scroll down, you can see how do you get involved. As I mentioned, we're collecting information about how many teachers you share with. When you fill out that form, we will enter you into a draw, our very own draw, to get a free conference registration for this year's conference our conference that will take place in Ottawa at the end of May. So I'm just going to click over so you can have a look. It's a very quick, fast form to understand our reach to teachers. And so we ask that as you do that work and sharing with teachers, that you share that information with us. Switching back to our website. Again, as we scroll down, you're getting information about the program that Jamie mentioned. Here is the step-by-step process of what to do. Again, we have a unique task form to fill out when you are going to do an activity, because this is how we're helping in terms of being kind of facilitators. When you click this form, and I'll show you live on the screen here, you can enter information about your program, and we've added something specific for that February 11th event. And this is because you can request a CSA speaker who could join your center through a webinar. There is some coordination that's needed for that to happen. And so we're collecting that information via this form. And so you can see it's like, are you interested? Give us your top 3 times that you would want a speaker. And then we will be able to communicate and coordinate that with the CSA. As well as on this form, you can indicate if you would like CSA Junior Astronaut materials. So this is things like posters, buttons, bookmarks, stickers, and we will share that request with the CSA. So we're capturing information: when do you need it by, how much would you like? Of course, this is dependent on availability of the amount of materials. But we are going to help facilitate that process. On our website, as Jamie mentioned, we have gathered a frequently asked questions area. There's a much more extensive one on the CSA, but we have added some questions that are specific to our community. And as we move over into kind of Q&A now, it may be that you have some questions that are already answered on this site. I'm just looking up at the Q&A tab, and I haven't seen any questions roll in yet, but now is certainly the time, if you have specific questions, to put them into the Q&A tab box. I'll keep my eye in the chat window, but the Q&A tab is the best place to put your questions.
Hi, Marianne. This is Tina here. We do have a question in the chat box from OSA. The question is, what is the last day in February to enter the CASC draw?
That's a really great question. We'll allow some window of opportunity. I don't think we've actually set the date for that draw because we're going to be collecting information about the teachers. We can collect that in through March. So I actually think that date should be a date in March when we're going to be collecting that information, because we will likely do some follow-up phone calls with our members to ensure that we're capturing that data effectively. How about I'll include that final date in our next communications with our members. I just want to reevaluate. We had said, I believe that would be around the end of February, but it may be that March would be a better timeline for that. Okay, I've just stopped sharing the screen. So we are open for any other questions that might be there specific to the program. I know, Jamie, you already answered some of the questions I had early on, which is, if we're already running activities that are similar. Again, the critical part for science centers, if you're running this activity, maybe it's through one of your school visits, maybe it's through a public program. The intent is to download that certificate to provide to youth so that they kind of have their proof showing that they've done this activity and can use that in their own efforts to enter the youth contest for the Space Camp. So that's kind of the task on the educator who's running the activity to do.
We also have another question here. If we deliver a program in March and give out certificates, do we still need to post a video to make them valid?
So I'll answer that question. That's a great question, in fact. So yes, you can definitely run the activities in March because youth have until the end of March to apply for the Junior Astronauts Camp. However, it's past the deadline for organizations to sign up for the astronaut visit, so you no longer required to take a video you don't need a video anymore. The only reason we ask for a video from science centers, organizations, and so on is when they apply for the for the astronaut visits. What we do ask then is that you make sure to provide youth with the certificates so that it facilitates and they're able to sign up for the Junior Astronaut Camp contest.
We have another question en français. Si nous avons des soucis avec la validation de notre courriel pour que notre événement soit inscrit, on parle avec qui? Magali Renaud est la bonne personne?
I'm actually here, so I'll take this one. So we've had en français, oui, pardon.
She's too bilingual.
Yeah, I will repeat it in English though because it's important. Donc, on a eu des problèmes intermittents avec notre serveur. On est en train de corriger. En fait, ça a été corrigé, mais j'attends une confirmation à 100% que ça fonctionne. Et puis, cet après-midi, ça devrait être rétabli. Donc, en principe, en réessayant à partir, disons, demain, pour être certain, tout devrait fonctionner. So I'll just repeat the question and the answer in English. Some people have had difficulty. So when you sign up for Junior Astronauts, you get an automatic message asking you to confirm your email. And we've had intermittent server problems this week, which makes this confirmation impossible. it works for some people, it doesn't for others. So our team has been working hard to fix that problem. It should be resolved by the end of today. So if you did have that problem, so for the people who have had problems, when you click on the link to confirm your email, it actually says that your organization does not exist in our system, but it does, I assure you. If you did register, it's there. It's just really a problem with their server. So if you try again as of tomorrow, I'm waiting for the confirmation from our team that it's 100% fixed. Those who have emailed already, I will let you know when I do get that confirmation. But if you try after today, it should work. Otherwise, you can always contact us, or there's a Junior Astronauts email address on our website for questions, and if you have technical difficulty, feel free to email that address.
Alors, est-ce que ça répond à la question?
The next question we have is, do you expect this program to continue next year?
That's a good question as well. So in fact, this is a one-time initiative. If it comes back, that's yet to be confirmed.
I also missed one, sorry. Any planned webinar for educators?
So there are efforts, there are webinars that are taking place with many, many partners across Canada. So I don't know if, Marianne, if you had any insight into some of those, but we are working also with the University of Western Ontario, who has various partners who do provide a significant amount of webinars on the junior astronauts across Canada. And there are some, I believe, that are being planned as well on February 11th.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if that question was about providing a webinar to provide background to educators, as in to kind of train them to help run the activities, or if it was kind of like a guest webinar where a guest tunes in to a session with those educators and potentially the youth. So there could have been two ways to read that question.
So maybe if I can as well, if it's the one regarding support to educators to run the activities, they've really been designed so that they do not require an in-depth knowledge of space and science to be able to run the activities. There should be sufficient information in the activities themselves to be able to run without being an expert.
And I'll just add, if there are specific questions from CASC members about some of these activities, again, you can send those questions to CASC. It may be best to use the info@casc-accs.com email address to share that with us. If for some reason we saw a lot of need and value in putting on a webinar for our members specific to those activities, we'll definitely look into it. I'm just going to look back at the Q&A tab. It looks like all of the questions that were in there have been answered. Jamie, are there any other common questions you've received that you think could be relevant to this audience?
I think the ones that we tend to be asked, we've addressed them, and in fact some of the questions coming in are some of the questions we've heard in the past as well. So I think we're good, unless Magali.
No, I mean, if there are any other questions or comments, or if you do get questions from educators, if you run a session and you're not sure of the answer, we're there to support you, obviously. So as I mentioned, you can always refer those educators to the email address that's on our website. As Jamie said before, the terms and conditions and the FAQs can contain a lot of answers. But if they're not in there, you know, there's always someone checking the emails at that Junior Astronauts address, or through our social media as well. Our team is very responsive. So just refer those educators to us or connect with us, and we'll be there to help.
I guess just one final reminder, if you are planning on running any public, any activities that are open to the public, just a reminder, we can help you promote the event. So please do share with us.
And on social media, if you do any posts related to junior astronauts, use the junior astronauts hashtag or Astronautes Juniors with S's in French. And if you tag the CSA, we'll be more than happy to like or reshare. We have a pretty good community on social media, so we're always happy to share the information and help you reach out to other people.
And one final thing I'll just add before we close off here. Again, leading up to this February 11th kind of date in Junior Astronaut Day and celebration of International Women and Girls and Science Day, I had received some questions because I know there are some science centers who run activities on the weekend, so not exactly on February 11th. And if there could be an opportunity to have a webinar, tune in with the Canadian Space Agency on a different date, but still in celebration of that day.
Yeah, so we are open to that. Magali and I spoke about that earlier too. That's definitely a possibility, and we'll take them on a case-by-case basis. But yeah, if it's on the weekend before or after or around that date, we're open to that.
Okay, great. And so thank you again for joining us. As a reminder to members, please go to our website and take a look at those forms. They're useful, they're quick and useful. And they serve purposes of getting the information to us so we can share to the Canadian Space Agency. And then I would say on the grander kind of overall view in terms of CAS being committed to evidence-based decision-making, we're collecting real data here that showcases our impact, and that is of real value. So we will continue to remain in touch with the network through email and e-blast about information about the program. So please watch out for those notices. We will update our website and those notices with the close-off date for the contest, our internal contest, where you're sharing information about the teachers and who you're sharing it with, and that's the contest for our conference registration. So without further ado, thanks again for joining us. Thank you to the Canadian Space Agency and to Jamie and Magali for supporting us. This webinar has been recorded and we will share it out with everyone who is tuned in today. Zoom, which is our platform for the webinar, will automatically send you a survey. And again, please fill it out. We'd love to hear back about how it went for you. And if you have any other suggestions for upcoming webinars, please let us know. So thanks again, everybody, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Marianne.